Today we are talking to Ryan Greenaway McGreevy. So we are talking to students of my book, or people who will be reading my book, Economics: A Global Introduction. And one of the things we talk about in the book is the issue of housing affordability. Why is housing not affordable? And and one proposal that's often advanced by politicians is rent control, right? So that's seen as a way as making housing affordable. And so in the book, I kind of say that this is probably not a good idea. Economists are generally not in favor of rent controls, but maybe you could tell us a little bit more as to
Yeah,
why or why not.
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
So as you alluded to there, rent controls are often proposed as a policy response to, high housing costs or rapidly increasing housing costs. And so whenever we see prices rise in economics, we view that through the lens of supply and demand. High prices or increasing prices generally indicate not enough supply relative to demand, right? And so when you're thinking about evaluating a policy response to that high and increasing price, you want to make sure that it's addressing the crux of the problem, right? The underlying drivers. And so rent control doesn't directly address that supply problem, right? There are other policies on the table that might be able to do that for you. In a lot of cities around the world where housing is expensive, there are a lot of regulations that prevent housing from being built and dictate how it can be built. So a lot of cities around the world don't allow medium or high density housing in residential areas. A lot of other cities around the world don't allow or make it difficult to expand at the city fringes and have so-called greenfield development where you convert rural land into housing. And many cities around the world have both constraints, right, which is the worst of both worlds. And so that's a significant constraint on housing supply in those cities. And Economics 101 tells us that when you do that, subject to increasing demand, prices will rise. So one way you could directly address that supply problem is to relax them. Yeah, there's a concern that they get a high